UNICEF commits $270 million to alleviate poverty in Nigeria. Jigawa State Assembly sets up committee to investigate tax remittance to state government. Kenyan Anti-Corruption Agency arrests ex-governor Wycliffe Oparanya. Today is 7th Safar 1445 after the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to 23rd August 2023. I am Salamatu Liman with the news and full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration will spend 8.63 billion naira on ministers' salaries and allowances over the next 4 years. The figure will, however, rise as the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission finalizes its review of public servant remuneration. But experts who spoke to News Agency of Nigeria said the large cabinet contradicts President Bola Tinubu's promises of reducing the cost of governance. They also said having many ministers who will in turn have many aides will put a lot of pressure on resources available at the detriment of millions of Nigerians who are in need of good governance. This is the first time a federal cabinet will be made up of 48 ministers since the return of democracy in the country in 1999. Tinubu's immediate predecessor, Muhammad Buhari, had 42 ministers. Similarly, in 2011, former President Goodluck Jonathan appointed 33 ministers to his cabinet, 9 of whom were carried over from the late President Umar Yar'Adua's administration. The late President Yar'Adua appointed 39 ministers in 2007, while former President Olusegun Obasanjo had 42 ministers in 1999. The Federal Accounts Allocation Committee says it shared the sum of 966.11 billion naira among the 3 tiers of government in July 2023. The committee disclosed this in a communique issued after its latest meeting in Abuja yesterday. According to a statement by Director of Press and Public Relations, Stephen Kilby, at the Ministry of Finance. The meeting was chaired by the Minister of Finance and the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun. The July disbursement is higher than the amount, 907.05 billion naira, shared in June by 59.06 billion naira, which is 6.5%. The total amount shared include funds from gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, electronic money transfer levies, and exchange rate difference revenue. FAC said from the total distributable revenue of 966.11 billion naira, the federal government received 374.49 billion naira, the state got 310.67 billion naira, and the total local government were given 229.41 billion naira. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says the sum of $270 million has been earmarked to support Nigeria's poverty alleviation and humanitarian response efforts. NAN reports that Rhoda Ilya, Deputy Director of Information, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, disclosed this in a statement today. Ilya said Christian Modate, UNICEF representative in Nigeria, made the pledge when she visited the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Bita Edu, in Abuja. Moderate said the funds will be used to build a National Humanitarian Situation Room or an Emergency Operations Center for Crisis Management. On her part, Bita Edu said the federal government is committed to lifting over 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. The minister added that the government is determined to collaborate with other development partners to achieve its plans. The House of Representatives has begun investigation into the alleged non-remittance of contribution into the National Housing Fund. This is just as the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas said the 10th House will review the National Housing Fund act to make it meet the current realities in the sector in order to provide affordable housing for Nigerians. The Speaker said this today while declaring open the ad hoc committee investigating the alleged non-remittance of the National Housing Fund and the utilization of the funds from 2011 till date. Abbas was represented by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Okwezi Kalu, said the National Housing Fund represents a commitment to addressing one of the most fundamental needs of the citizens, which is affordable housing. He charged members of the committee to thoroughly and diligently in their assessment to ensure they uncover the truth. On his part, the chairman of the ad hoc committee, Bagos Musa Dachung, said the committee will leave no stone unturned in unraveling the truth behind the allegations of non-remittance and the utilization of the funds. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the face-off between Super Falcons and the officials of the Nigerian Football Federation over non-payment of allowance and entitlement has summoned the NFF President Ibrahim Gusau to appear before it tomorrow. Chairman of the committee, Blessing Onu, gave the directive at its sitting today after the appearance of the NFF Secretary General, Dr. Mohammed Sanusi, who said that the NFF President will not attend the investigative hearing because of his ill health. Onu said the NFF president was supposed to appear before the ad hoc committee on the 17th of August, but unfortunately, the reason the NFF president gave were not as important as the work of the ad hoc committee. It appeared to be that the ad hoc committee is on a warpath with the chairman House of Reps Standing Committee, Ekene Adams. It was alleged that an instruction was purportedly given by Adams to the NFF president to shun the investigation by the chairman of the ad hoc committee investigating the face-off. The National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has confirmed the abduction of 8 graduates traveling to Sokoto State for the Batch B Stream 11 orientation camp. The NYSC Director of Press and Public Relations Unit, Eddie Migwa, who confirmed the incident, said the victims were abducted by suspected bandits in Zamfara State while heading to their designated orientation camp in Sokoto. He said the prospective corps members were traveling in the night when the gunmen waylaid their vehicle. News Agency of Nigeria gathered that the victims were traveling in an Akwa Ibom Transport Company bus from Uyo to Sokoto State for their one-year national service when the incident happened. 3 of the passengers in the bus reportedly escaped while the remaining 8 were captured by the gunmen. The NYSC spokesperson, however, revealed that the Director General of the Corps, YD Ahmed, was in Zamfara to work with security agencies and secure their release. In another development, Kaduna State Coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC), Hassan Taura, said that the federal government has approved an upward review of feeding allowance for corps members. The coordinator made this known while fielding questions from journalists yesterday, shortly after the opening and swearing-in ceremony for the 2023 Batch B Stream 2 orientation course in Kaduna. Mr. Taura, who did not specify the amount reviewed, said the federal government in its wisdom has reviewed the feeding allowance of the corps members. The coordinator promised to prioritize corps members' welfare at all levels. The news is coming to you from the studios of Sawaba Radio. Months after the short break, stay tuned.
This is News on the Hour, Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still onto the services of Sawaba Radio 104.9 Hadija. The Jigawa State House of Assembly has set up a 15-man committee to investigate tax remittance to the government by banks, companies, and other corporate bodies operating in the state. Speaker Haruna Aliyu said this when he inaugurated the committee at plenary today in Dutse. Aliyu named the committee members to include Sani Ishaku, Chairman, Lawan Muhammad, Vice Chairman, and Isiaku Adu, Secretary. He said that other members of the committee were Ibrahim Kabir, Abubakar Sadiq, Ibrahim Hamza, Ishaq Tasiu, Sani Sali, and Yaw Ibrahim, Idris Muhammad, Ilu Abdu, Saleh Baba, Adu Yakubu, Usaman, Abdullahi, and Amin Sule. Aliyu said that the remittance was to liaise with the State Board of Internal Revenue Board to ascertain the banks and company status and verify tax payment by corporate bodies operating in the state from inception to date. The added that the committee will also investigate their corporate social responsibility compliance, including empowerment of indigents of the state. In another development, Jigawa State Governor Malam Omar Namadi has inaugurated the Jigawa State Environmental Sanitation Committee that will be facilitating environmental sanitation exercise across the state. The membership of the committee is headed by the Commissioner of Environment, Dr. Noor Ibrahim. The committee is made up of representatives of traditional rulers, security agencies, professionals, as well as civil society organizations. Governor Omar Namadi said the committee was set up to ensure clean and healthy environment in the state. To be recalled that this committee is also captured in his administration's 12-point agenda blueprint. About 3,495 Nigerians were kidnapped in 11 months between July 2022 and June 2023. In a report by SBM Intelligence, a research company, the figures represent cases that were reported in the media from last year, July to June 2023. The Northwest recorded the highest number of kidnap cases, with Zamfara recording 765 cases, Kaduna with 690 cases, Katsina with 241, Sokoto with 176, Kebbi with 39 cases, Kano with 6, and Jigawa with 4. In the North Central, Niger had the highest rate with 468 cases, Kogi with 163, Nasarawa with 79, Kwara with 64, Benue with 52, and Plateau with 45. The zone with the third highest rate is the South-South, with Edo recording 130 cases, Rivers with 60, Cross Rivers 43, Delta with 31, Akwa Ibom 5, and Bayelsa 1. This followed closely by the Southwest, with Ondo recording 83 cases, Osun with 29, Lagos with 15, Oyo with 13, Ogun with 13, and Ekiti 15. The Southeast, Imo had the highest casualties with 60 cases, Anambra with 55, Enugu with 36, Ebonyi with 5, and Abia with 3. The zone with the least casualties is the Northeast, with Taraba recording 35 cases, Bauchi with 33, Borno with 25, Adamawa with 12, Gombe with 1, and none in Yobe State. The Kano State government has decreed the state of education in the state, saying there is a school of more than 500, with a school with more than 5,000 pupils without classrooms and a standard toilet. The State Commissioner for Education, Omar Haruna Dogwa, disclosed this today while receiving a team from the British Consul in his office. Dogwa reiterated the government's commitment to continue working closely with the British Council to address challenges surrounding the education sector. He revealed that the state was facing serious challenges undermining the progress of education and affecting the future of its younger ones. The commissioner, however, decreed the increase in out-of-school children in the state and assured the public of the present administration's determination to minimize the situation. Local media reported. Wycliffe Oparanya is currently at the Ethnics and Anti-Corruption Commission alongside his wife Priscilla. He said no reason had been given for their arrest or why they were being questioned. Mr. Oparanya served 2 terms as the governor of Kakamega County in western Kenya between 2013 and 2022. Russia's President Vladimir Putin told the leaders of China, India, South Africa, and Brazil that the growing influence of their BRICS group will lead to a multipolar world. Addressing the summit in Johannesburg by video, Mr. Putin said he opposed the sway exerted by the G7 and other Western, Western-led groups. He is unable to attend it in person because he faces an international arrest warrant over Ukraine. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for the expansion of BRICS, saying it will make global governance fairer. Countries including Iran, Ethiopia, and Algeria have expressed interest in joining. However, Brazil has cautioned against making the grouping an alternative to the G7. A press conference planned for later has been cancelled with leaders locked in close negotiations. Kenya will begin an emergency polio vaccination program tomorrow, weeks after the detection of polio cases at the northeastern part of the country. The vaccination campaign targets 7.4 million children under the age of 5 and will prioritize 10 high-risk counties, including Garissa County, where the recent outbreak happened. An estimated 3% of the Kenyan children are unvaccinated against polio, Kenya's Health Director General, Dr. Patrick Amott, said in a media briefing today. Kenya eradicated wild polio virus, the most common form of polio, in 2014. However, in July, the World Health Organization warned that Kenya faces a high risk of circulating vaccine-derived polio, a form of polio virus that affects under-immunized communities. The national vaccination program is expected to make vaccines more accessible and increase Kenya's polio vaccination rate. That has been the news, but before I go, a recap of the major stories. From the news warhead, UNICEF commits $270 million to alleviate poverty in Nigeria. Jigawa Assembly set up committee to investigate tax remittance to state government. Kenyan Anti-Corruption Agency arrests ex-governor Wycliffe Oparanya. That has been the news on the News Department. Our editor, Mohammed Suleiman Yobi, our content announcer, Salma Adam Iko. I am Salam Sunut Aliman Singh.